Shooting guard from Rosario, La Union, number 20, Kenneth Tevin. Small forward from Maragondon, Cavite, number 15, Simon Camacho. San Mateo Rizal, number 14, Troy Malinin. Power forward from City of San Fernando, Pampanga, number 25, Christian David.
And first possession of the game will be with Phoenix. Tyler Tio, one of the more famous players here in the Philippine Basketball Association. Here's Tyler, using the Perkins screen. Tio, still with it. Over to Perkins, 15-foot jumper on the way, that's money.
And that's a good play right there, you know. It ended up in a two-man game between Perkins and Tyler Tio. Good setup job for the first 2 points of the hefty lefty.
Who said that Ateneo and LaSalle can't get along? Here comes Bearfield, 3-ball on the way, no good. Nice rebound there for Phoenix. Here's Tuffin. Tuffin, that's for 3, got it! Using the Balungay screen. Back to the hefty lefty, Perkins who puts it on the floor. Perkins attacks, goes to the basket, puts it up and in!
That is his strong side. Every time he goes to the left, it's really very hard to be stopping Jason Perkins, the #1 offensive threat for Phoenix Fuel Master.
Trotter trying to get it back right away. He does. The hoop and the harm for Abu.
I like that move right there, you know? He was given the left hand, puts that ball down, and then took it strong. There you go. It took 2 dribbles. Could have been 1.
Abu still with it. Tried to get it over to Bearfield. Tipped. And here comes Phoenix. Tio. All the way to the cup. Puts it up off the board. Nice looking layup there for Tyler Tio. Perkins. Looking for a teammate. Back to Tyler. Over to Perkins. Perkins off the glass. Basket plus the foul for the hefty lefty.
And you know, those are the improvements that this guy really has here.
Here comes Phoenix on the break once again. Tyler surveying the floor. Sends it back to Perkins. Open for 3. Got it! Wow,
Perkins is making us look good. Yes, I said. Sometimes he takes the outside shots and he makes it.
So the hefty lefty, Jason Perkins, the secondary break 3-pointer right there. And he has given good. And JB Kasha, look at that. Over to Bearfield, pull up jumper, got it.
That's the right shot. You've got to credit JB Kasha for the diving for that loose ball. It was a good one that saved the day for them in that offense.
That happened right in front of us. He saw you and said, I need to get this for Coach AG. As Camacho gets away for that basket. Nice feed coming from the hefty lefty. Bearfield. Cedric still with it. Fadeaway jumper on the way. Gets the shooter's roll.
So he got 4 straight points in the last 30 seconds. Cedric Bearfield. That's a good timeout for Coach Jeff Cariaso. But then again, they've got to do much, much better on the defensive end. No? Just a lot of penetration. Only 1 minute and 20 seconds. They were down 9 points for that ball game.
Yeah. That's Rick Carlisle for you. Bearfield hits that, but his foot was on the 4-point line, so that's going to be a 3-pointer.
So he's got 7 points in the last 2 minutes after the timeout. Cedric Bearfield.
The 3-point shot is brought to you by Rick Sona. Andrade in the game for the first time. Over to Tratter. 23-12 is the count. And almost a turnover there. Yes, it is going to be a turnover. Tio picks it up. Over to Kai. Skies, but stopped by Tratter. However, they're looking for a foul.
Phoenix.
Yeah, they're looking for a foul.
Got to keep the ball. That's right.
Richie, 3-ball on the way, puts it in. Salado, still with it. Over to Kai. 3-ball on the way, no good. Look at that. Look at that man right there, the tough guy, putting it in.
What happens here? We have not seen any inside points coming from Blackwater Bossing. Just a lot of outside shots. And coming off the timeout, that's a good setup job for RK Ilagan.
Well, RK Ilagan says, I don't want to score from down low. I want to shoot from the outside.
That's right, that's right. Why not? Why not?
And he does hit that long bomb right there. Nice curl And pass coming from Ion for that. Chua still with it. Goes to the fadeaway, a little bit too strong. And Andrade just out-hustles all the red shirts, and a great pass down low to Bradwin Quito for the easy bucket.
So those are the kinds of plays that you would want to expect coming from Blackwater Bossing, no? They were down by 20 points. Now it's a 5-0 run. Like the energy of Andrade here in this game.
10 seconds to shoot here for Phoenix. Kai stopped there by the defense of Quinto. Another attempt. This time he made sure of that one. Olar. No good from downtown. Oh, nice rebound there, but coming up short on the shot. Andrade. Still with it, all the way to the basket. Puts it up and in. Plus the foul.
It's like what we said, no? You like the energy by this very young man, PJ Andrade. Look at that nice crossover.
Salado got a size advantage here on Ion. Perona, step back three, ball on the way off the glass. Do you think he called that? No, I don't think so. He's laughing at that. Perkins goes to the right this time. Perk. That time it goes to the left-handed hook shot. Here's Ilaga. RK using the Capital screen. Ion with it now. Ion. Wow, hanging in the air, puts it up and in.
That's a better choice for Mike Ion. No, he's a natural slasher. That is part of his scouting report. That's a good matchup against R.R. Garcia.
Perkins, three ball, drills it.
There's a little space needed. No, he's just so red hot here in this ball game.
This three-point shot is brought to you by Rexona. Ilagan. Over to Ginto. Ginto creating some space.
That's a lot of power. you know that Bradwin really has that upper body strength.
Absolutely.
that move, Jason Perkins.
He's one of the strongest players here in the PBA.
Away from here.
and Perk is a pretty big dude. Here he is, Perkins. Sends it over to Hazul. Nice last second pass there to Verano for the bucket. Caperal. Now with Ilagan. Asking for the screen. They go to Ginto. Bradwin. Still with it. Hand off to Ion. Ion. Now with Caperal. Three ball on the way. Answers with his own triple.
And it's not going to be hesitated.
The three-point shot is brought to you by Rexona. 44 to 26 is the count. Here's RK. Now with Ginto. Malilin. Back to Ilagan. They send it back out. Ion for three. That. Caperal. Back to RK. Three ball for RK Ilagan.
Wala na.
Sometimes lang, special moments, special threes, I suppose.
Ganda ng energy, no? RK Ilagan, since coming into this ball game.
He's really a jolt, you know. When you put him in the game, something happens. And like right there, he gets the steal.
3-2 break. Why not?
Why not? Drilled that one, RK Ilagan. Back-to-back triples for him. Perkins against Caperal. Goes right once again, switches to the left, no good. Perk still with it, off the glass. That time he made sure.
You can actually keep on calling him the tough guy. The tough man.
Here's Bearfield straight to the basket. Beautiful pass coming from Prince Caperal. Using the Caperal screen. Back to Prince, tipped however by Garcia. 48 to 37 is the count. The tough guy drills the three ball. RJ back to Tuffin. They got to put it up. Perkins does from three. Wow, 3 of 3 from downtown.
There was no more time left. You know, all that you can do is actually challenge that shot to the last second. Tough shot right there.
The hefty lefty with 9 points from downtown. David wants to answer on the other end and does with his own three-pointer. Finally puts himself on the board.
And, you know, that's the right thing, no? Flashing from the weak side, getting that ball for a jumper. But this is going to be easy. You know, he has been eating those shots and is looking at Coach Jeff Carriazo. I don't know why he's smiling, you know, because he feels, he really feels so relaxed here in this ball game, Jason Perkins.
The pace of this game has been pretty quick, you know, both teams going back and forth, giving up about a foot and a half on Jason Perkins. And
Oh, look at
this.
that.
The Bossing wins the tip. Bearfield straight to the basket. No good. Escoto. Second attempt. And they get the shooter's roll. So it's still 4 minutes to go here in the first half. It's been a pretty high-scoring ball game for both sides, actually. Tasho, JV to the basket.
JV Afon. JV Afon. You know what he was telling me? No, he was telling me he's got 0 points, but a minus plus 20. Now he's got 2 points. Okay, you're a candidate for best player if you win this game.
Especially in the eyes of Coach Alan Gregorio. And here comes JV once again. JV still with, decides to pull it out this time.
He's against RJ.
And that's going to be back to Phoenix. Here comes Tyler on the break. Dion all the way to the cup, puts it up and in.
Yeah, that is just a lot of athleticism right there. No, jumping over JV Casio for the 2 points. Good strong move from Tyler Teo.
Casio sends it over to Escoto. Escoto with a tough defense coming from Perkins. Daves almost loses the handle, ends up in the hands there of the hefty lefty Teo once again with the ball. Tyler over to Tuffin, open from three.
Looks good. It looked good. It looked really straight.
And they go to Perkins instead. Perk goes back to the lefty and misses on that hook shot. Escoto with the size advantage beats all defenders and puts it in over RJ Jesus.
That's a very good catch, but first that pass right there coming from Christian David. And making sure they got the rebound, running opportunity. 15-point lead still for Phoenix.
27 bench points for Blackwater, 10 for Phoenix so far here in this contest. Perkins over to Kai down low, goes to the reverse, puts it in. Teo using the Perkins screen. Tyler still with it. Teo, pull up jumper, drills it.
Yeah, you've got to be able to set the screen first before that movement coming from the man with the ball. And that time it was Christian David.
Teo. Nice pass over to Balong Kai with a two-handed flush in traffic.
What about that great pass, no? What a decision coming from Tyler Teo. He could have taken that shot already,
Absolutely.
actually.
But they went for the jugular there for that jam by Kai Balungay. RK, 5 to shoot. Ilagan, back out to Malilin. 3 ball from the top of the key, drills that one in the nick of time.
Well, Malilin has got that shot, no? After that flash, he was not given that ball by RK Ilagan. Now this is going to be a let go. How tough was that slight push that Kenneth Tuffin had against PJ Andrade?
21 points in the ball game so far for Ken Tuffin. Ilagan. Here's Ginto. Bradwin splits the defense all the way to the basket, puts it up and in.
And that's something that the big man can really do, no?
To feed a Balungay for that jam on Bradwin Ginto. Teo. Tyler, pull-up jumper on the way, puts it in.
This was the thing that I was saying, no? When he is inside the paint, he can go for that elevation. Okay, Laga, no, he's not going to be hesitating those kinds of shots. He sparked the second quarter. Look at this. Great defense coming from Christian David. But Balungay was still able to get that offensive rebound.
Perkins. They whip it over to Alejandro. 3 ball on the way. Back irons it. Rebound in the hands of RK. Ilagan. Now with David. That's for 3. Drills it.
You like this offense right here. No? Unselfish. Good handoff coming from RK Ilagan. Set up your shooters.
Christian David currently now with 8 points in the game. Perkins. Fadeaway jumper from the baseline. Wow, I mean, clicking on all cylinders here, Jason Perkins.
Part of the scouting report, you're not going to bring him to the left, but then again, step back jumper from Perkins.
And Andrade drills his own three-pointer. Look, we saw this a little bit in the second quarter. A barrage of three-pointers coming from Blackwater. Cut that lead down all the way to 9. And then Phoenix went on another run. Perkins. And stripped down low. Here comes Malilin.
Instead of going for another dribble. But then again, look at this first, no? This nice fade.
Back to JJ. Alejandro loses the rock, picked up by RK. RK going all the way, puts it up and in. Hopia can't hang on to it. Alejandro comes up with it. JJ. Over to Tio. Tyler. Back out to Alejandro. 3-ball money.
That's going to be another assist right there. Coming from Tyler Tio. Know where your shooters are. You're not going to be hesitating on giving it to them. Great decision. This is tough. This is very, very tough.
39-19 at the end of 1. Thanks in large part to that man, Jason Perkins, who misses that 15-foot jumper that ends up in the hands of Richie Rivero. Back to Perk. Now with Tio. Tyler. Extra pass to Sky Balungay for his second dunk of the game.
Again, and that's going to be the third assist of Tyler Tio in the last 2 minutes, setting up his teammates. Now, I like this one. In the first half, I was actually looking at some driving lanes for this guy, Escoto.
And Escoto with the steal right there. One player to beat. Escoto. Over to Andrade. They swing it over to Bearfield. Cedric decides for the 3-ball and drills it. And a possible 4-point play coming the way of Cedric Bearfield. Tio. Back to Perk. Against Escoto. Perkins. Whips it over to Tuffin. 3-ball on the way at the buzzer. Why not?
And you know the good thing with how he's playing, no, it's not just about his offense. He's also playing great defense on the other side. Switching.
Hopia. 10 seconds to shoot here for the white shirts. Hopia working on Perkins. Hopia off the glass, using that height advantage on the hefty lefty.
You know, he's 6'8". Legit, huh? Clifford Hopia. First 2 points for the big man.
Balungay against Hopia. Balungay goes to the fadeaway short. Hopia with a board. Here comes RK on the break. Ilagan. Couple players to beat. Stopped there by Tyler Tio. And RK decides to bring it back out. Sends it over to Bearfield. Tuffin. Over to Perkins. Attacks. Stopped there by Hopia. And here comes the bossing on the counter attack. Bearfield. Dancing with Tio. Here's Mitchell. Mitchell. Baseline jumper. Gets the shooter's roll. Shakes free of the defense. Short on the reverse.
Move. Would have been a great move.
And Tuffin decides to set things up. Over to Rivero. Now with Balungay against Hopia. Draws the foul and the basket to boot.
Good pass right there coming from Richie Rivero. Not forcing that 3-point shot. R.R. Garcia.
Maybe not the shot that you want. And he does apologize to Coach Jeff as R.R. Garcia goes coast to coast. I mean, after all these years, R.R. Garcia still does that better than most.
Well, you know, it was Simon Camacho who actually gave him that wide open lane to the basket because of that screen.
Chua. Nice little push shot there. That's a shot that he was trying so much in the first half, but he always coming up short. This time he got it just right.
It looks so easy, you know, when Justin Chua is the one taking that kind of a shot.
Richie goes to the baseline. What a move there by Richie Rivero.
He just goes airborne after that one dribble. On the other side, this is the kind of offense that we've been expecting from a very young team. You've got Bearfield, you've got DJ Mitchell. You just get the rebound and off you go. Look at this. The 2 points coming from R.R. Garcia. He's got 4 straight points in the last 30 seconds.
Drills the
DJ
four.
Mitchell.
Oh!
He has 7 points in the last 2.5 minutes for Blackwater Bossing. And look at that elevation right there. The release, definitely there was time left, 1 full second. And this shot.
And Mitchell has been a spark plug here for Coach Jeff Carriazo. And that's a beautiful pass to Troy Malinin down low as well.
That rebound. DJ Mitchell looking at this. He knew the perfect time. And then that nice seal underneath. Clear mismatch for Malinin being guarded.
Malinin against Hazul. They kick it back out. Down to Chua against Perkins. And Chua using that weight advantage on the hefty lefty.
Exactly.
8 seconds to shoot here for Phoenix. Garcia over to Hazul. Whips it over the top and goes baseline all the way to the cup. Puts it up and in.
And the decision making.
He's up to 8 points, but it's a far cry from what we know that he can do.
But this game is so intense, actually, you know.
Here's Ilagan. RK dancing with Perkins. Both of his teammates said attack the big guy, and he does. RK Ilagan putting Perkins on skates here. Pull up jumper money. And he's also had himself. And look at the defense there by Andrade, but ends up in the hands of RJ Azul. In and out on that three. Perkins turns a negative into positive with a hoop and a harm.
He's been very quiet in the third quarter. Now in the fourth quarter, what a better way to get that letter by a big offensive rebound. Nice fake, get the rebound, get that foul, go to the free throw line. What a ball game coming from the hefty lefty, Jason Perkins.
31 points in this contest here for Perk. Over to Balungay, 3-ball on the way off. And it's going to be in the hands of Escoto. Escoto with Tio to beat. Escoto to the scoop, puts it up. And another basket there for Richard Escoto.
Why not? That's a good read. That's a clear mismatch. Good attack coming from Escoto.
Back to a 10-point game. Hazul, corner 3-ball, and he finally drills one. And he looks straight at you right after.
Yeah, but did you see that? Did you see that?
And here comes RJ once again on the break. Hazul's
What
got
a pass!
over to Tio. That's a picture-perfect fast break right there for
Solid,
the Phoenix Fuel Masters.
great decision-making. That is why he's playing. That is why he's being given the minutes by Phoenix Fuel Masters.
Escoto's 3 trickles in.
Lucky shot, lucky shot. Still points, 4 rebounds. 60% from the
Tio. Using the Perkins screen. Tyler now with Perkins. Perkins still with it. Perkins all the way to the cup.
That's right. Between Jason Perkins and the kind of effort that was done and still been able to do here in this game in Kenneth Taffin.
Jason Perkins, meanwhile, has 36 points in this contest.
Not part of the scouting report, but Abu Tratter has been trying to improve on his perimeter shots.
Here's Perk. Perk working on Ginto. Perk with a series of moves. Oh, wow, that's just phenomenal footwork and finish there by the hefty lefty.
You know, he's just like telling me, who deserves the best player of the ball game? Do you have some questions in mind, Coach AG?
Escoto 3-ball. Meanwhile,
nice.
Richard Escoto. Tio now with Perkins. Perkins over to
again, that slam. That's going to be the third slam right here. That slamma jama from Kai Balungay.
Oh, the Sky Balungay with 3. Oh, my goodness! Answers with his own one-handed flush on the
You
other
like
end.
that, huh?
This ball game, but let's take a look at this.
First,
Perkins.
this one, moving well without the ball. Okay, it's a slam, but I like this one better. There was a challenge. Posterized. And look at
the final buzzer about to be sounded in this Phoenix win. So they will finish this Philippine Cup with a record of 4-7.